You know, one thing that I think most people who carry understand is that often choosing the carry gun isn't the hardest part of setting up your carry rig. It's choosing your holster and finding a good quality holster. It's especially hard to find a good quality holster that you can get in any reasonable time frame at a reasonable price. So that today is why I wanted to show this holster that I bought recently. Now this holster is by 1791 Gun Leather. I bought this holster off of Amazon. It was an Amazon Prime item for $49. It was delivered to me in 36 hours. I did pay $4 extra to have the early shipping, but the holster itself was $49. And I bought this to be a temporary holster. I wasn't planning on this being my permanent holster. I ordered this holster because of the time it takes to get a good quality holster. I thought this would be a good holdover. I thought, well, it'll be good enough for now. But when I got it, man, was I surprised. This holster is amazing. One thing that's very important about a holster is how well it fits your particular handgun. I do not like universal holsters, nylon holsters, etc., with a strap on them. I like a holster that fits my gun. This fits my gun perfectly. My 1911 went in this thing no problem. It even fits my SIG here, and it's a very snug fit that has great retention on the gun. And it also fits my Kimber perfectly. So this is a great 1911 holster, fits both the Kimber and the slightly more squared off SIG. And that fit is very important when choosing a holster, because if your holster doesn't fit your gun properly, you run the risk of having that gun come out of the holster sometime when you don't want it to. And that's how a lot of negligent discharges happen when you're carrying, by not carrying a good quality holster that fits your gun properly. And as you can see, this is not some thin piece of leather like some of the holsters you get off Amazon.com. This is well made and thick. It's very sturdy made. All the edges are finished properly. It's got an extra piece of leather up here to strengthen the lip of the holster. It's just an extremely well made holster in its own right. It is also very nicely stitched. If you look at the stitching here, it's very even, very uniform. It doesn't overlap a lot, not a lot of excess bulk there, just stitched very well. Also, another thing I wanted to show is the trigger guard protection here. It covers enough of the trigger that you cannot get to the trigger no matter how hard you try. Nothing else is going to be able to get to that trigger either. Nothing you would have in your pockets, etc. It's covered. The full front of the trigger is covered. But the holster doesn't come up too high to where it blocks your fingers when you try to get a good grip on your gun. I've had holsters before that thought they had to cover the entire trigger guard, and then when you go to try to grab the gun, you're fighting the holster to get the gun. So I just wanted to spend a little time today to let everyone know that I found this quite by accident. The 1791 Gun Leather holster, this thing is awesome. I'm going to be ordering some more of these because I bought it as a temporary holster, but this has all the features necessary to be a full-time holster. And when you take into account that it's $49, you can have it in your hands in 36 hours if you have Amazon Prime. I mean, how can you beat it? It's just a top-notch quality holster. Because we all know when you're buying your holster, you have to think, does it fit my gun? Then you have to think, is it comfortable? And then you have to think, is it strong enough to do what it needs to do? But quite often, we also have to think, geez, I just spent a lot of money on my gun. I don't want to have to spend a fortune on my holster. So this holster meets all of those requirements. Like I said, it's strong. It's well made. It fits the gun perfectly. And it's $49. So how could you possibly beat that?